Hey there, everybody. What's going on? It's TwoHeadedFlounder. Welcome back to some TCGO. This is new. I know. It's weird. I'm getting used to it. It's easy to do on stream, but recording videos is super weird because I feel like I gotta look into this when I'm talking, and it's a little awkward. But this is like a 7-year-old camera. I'm going to be replacing it very soon. So, sorry for the terrible quality on it. I just want to get into the hang of doing this as well. So, it's Halloween. Happy Halloween. Today we're going to be playing Halloween themed deck. I had a toss up between some Goregeist stuff and Night March, and I kind of went with Gengar. And I thought this would be super good. Probably the most popular ghost type. And there's fun to be had with a lot of the Gengar cards. So this is what we got. Gengar, this is the Creepshow one. Great card. Has a lot of potential. Has never really had any success though. Initially, when it came out, people were like, well, you play with bats, and then that kind of fell off. Then they were like, well, you play with Trevenant, seemed good, and then it fell off. Alakazam fell off. I think the next one was like Tapu Koko with Flying Flip and Counter Energies and all this other stuff, and that didn't really go anywhere either. And I've tried a majority of these decks, and just to no avail. It's very difficult to work, but I think this is probably one of the better ones that I've made. And we're going to see if it does any well today. So, this is, of course, Creepshow Gengar, 130 HP, Stage 2. Has a weakness to Dark, which is very relevant because Zoroark is a powerhouse in Expanded. And then it has a resistance to Fighting, which is also relevant because people tend to play Fighting decks to beat Zoroark sometimes. So, I think there's some good and bad here, but mainly good because I think there's a lot to work with here, and I think Sinister Fog just synergizes super well with Creepshow that this is actually a really good card. So, for 1 Psychic Energy, your opponent's active Pokemon is now poisoned. Put 1 damage counter on each of your opponent's bench Pokemon. So not only are we spreading 1 damage to everything, but the active is poisoned, which means that's a guaranteed 1 to possibly 2 damage counters on that, which could definitely be a lot more useful. And it is just a great attack overall. And then, of course, Creepshow, you add the additional colorless energy. If your opponent's active has 3 or more damage counters on it, that Pokemon is knocked out. So it doesn't matter if their HP maximum is 40 HP. Doesn't matter if it's like 250 HP. It's knocked out as long as there's 3 damage counters there. So to help us with that, we are also going to be playing a copy of Haunter. This is the one from Crimson Invasion, I believe. Has Pain Amplifier for a Psychic Energy. Put 2 damage counters on each of your opponent's Pokemon that already has damage counters on it. So what is really cool here is we have a lot of attacks in this deck that actually will go ahead and spread damage. We have the Sinister Fog with Gengar, but we also have Swoop Across with Golbat, which will put 10 damage counters on each of your opponent's Pokemon. So either way, we're probably going to be getting 10 damage on everything at some point early on in the game. And then as an additional little benefit, you know, we have a cool attack that will definitely synergize really well. And then we're playing 4 copies of the Sleep Poison Ghastly. I think this is the better one. Flip a coin if heads, your opponent's active is now asleep and poisoned. So not only are they asleep and they have to get a coin toss to get out of that, which can definitely stall for time, but the poison is really nice because, again, that could be 1 or 2 damage counters on something. And if we lead off with Ghastly and we're in a bad situation at the beginning and we just go for it, maybe it can turn into 3 damage counters on our opponent's active and us doing something with that. So for the rest of the Pokemon, we're playing a 3-3-2 line of the Crobat line. We're playing 3 copies of the Free Flight Zubat because this is the better one to have. The other one will allow you to put 10 damage anywhere you want, but this one has Tree or Treat, which is ideally what we want to maybe send up something more useful. Oh, I forgot you can't use the keys. We're playing 3 copies of Golbat because not only is Swoop Across a fantastic attack for this deck, but Sneaky Bite will allow us to put 2 damage counters every time we evolve into Golbat. So right away, if we just load up our bench, pass, comes back to us, we evolve into Golbat, put 2 on the active, and then Swoop Across. There's 1 on each of the bench, and there's 3 on that active. So if we really need to, we can go in there and Creepshow it right away. And then, of course, we're playing 2 copies of Crobat because we might as well. It's useful. It is a guaranteed 3 damage counter, so later on when our opponent has gotten something knocked out and they put something fresh in and then we have to reapply all that damage all over again, and it's going to be very difficult to do, we at least have Crobat to just straight away put the 3 damage counters on it. It's not going to be safe, and it's going to be a target. Of course, Skill Dive can also put 30 damage counters, or 30 damage onto one of our opponent's Pokemon too. So just a super good Pokemon. We're playing 1 copy of Lele just because if we have a dead hand, we're going to want to try and get a supporter card. And we are playing 1 copy of Shaman because just being able to draw is very useful, and sometimes we're going to need that little extra bit to start digging through the deck. So the rest of the lineup is a little weird. We're playing 1 copy of Computer Search because I feel like this is the ideal one to be playing. This will allow you to search out for the rare candy if you need it, the Dimension Valley, any of the Pokemon, a supporter, an energy if you really need the energy. It's just very versatile, very useful. Of course, we're playing 1 copy of Field Blower because just removing annoying stadiums and or tools or anything that could potentially hurt us, we're going to want to remove. So there is the potential there. We're playing 4 Mysterious Treasure because the majority of the deck besides Shaman is just Psychic, and it's better than Ultra Ball because of that. We lose out on the ability to grab Shaman, but we have other cards in here as well. So I thought one of the more interesting ones here was a copy of Pokemon Communication. I think a lot of the times when you play Bat decks or Stage 2 decks in general, you have the wrong Pokemon at the wrong time. So this would allow us to pretty much just swap them out for a different one that we do need. And I think that is really, really nice. So theoretically, we have a Golbat in our hand, but we're looking for the Gengar. We swap it out, get the Gengar. 4 copies of Rare Candy, pretty standard because, of course, we were playing a Stage 2 deck. We're playing a copy of Super Rod because we do want to get our Pokemon back, but we also want to get our energy back if we run low on it. We shouldn't run too low because of Dimension Valley and not having to really apply energy to some certain Pokemon to attack. But there is always the potential of Mill or something along those lines, and we're going to want to try and get some stuff back. We got 4 copies of VS Seeker because it's probably the best item card in the game. I don't know if there's any questioning about that. Dimension Valley. We're playing 3 of them. 4 could potentially be useful, but I don't think more or less people play 4 stadiums in most of their decks. So we're actually going to be playing some other stuff to kind of allow us to play multiple Dimension Valley, technically. Playing 2 copy of Bridget. I'm never really a fan of playing multiple Bridgets, but I feel like this is a deck that you want to guarantee that turn 1 Bridget and try and get a full bench set up. You want 3 Ghastly down, you want 2 Zubat down at the very least, so Bridget, very useful. Copy of Colress because, of course, this is just super good and expanded. 2 copy of Cynthia. I don't know why I have 2, honestly. I could probably drop this and add maybe like a Haunter or something if we really needed to. But I like Cynthia a lot. I think it's a good supporter, so I guess we're playing 2 of them. A copy of Guzma and a copy of Lysander. Pretty much the same thing, but one of them has uses while the other one has its other uses, so that's what we're going with. Playing a copy of Karen. I figured that we probably are going to get knocked out a lot, not having a whole lot of HP, and Karen would be useful, but it also kind of makes Night March have to restart. It also makes other like Vengeance and Vespiquen decks have to restart as well. Playing a copy of Luzamine. So this will allow us to grab 2 either supporters or stadium cards in any combination, put them into our hand from the discard pile, which of course could be really nice for grabbing a supporter that we may need to use for the next turn, but also grabbing the Dimension Valley for the turn if we really need it, which I think is really nice. Playing 2 copies of N. I would theoretically play 2 copies of N in most expanded decks because N is just too powerful of a card not to use. We also have a copy of Juniper because I haven't used Juniper in a while and I chose it over Sycamore. What up? But yeah, no. Juniper, super solid. Discard your hand, draw 7 cards. Playing a copy of Skyla because if we have this in our hand and we have Gengar in our hand, maybe the best play for the turn is to just Skyla for the rare candy. We also have copy of Teammates. This is pretty much the better Skyla, but we have to have one of our Pokemon get knocked out before we can use this. But I think this is just super good for this deck in general because there's so many things you're going to need, and just being able to Teammates for it is really nice. For instance, once we have a Gengar knocked out and we don't have another Gengar in play, but we have Ghastly, all of a sudden we can just rare candy and Gengar. You know, just grab those 2 cards, immediately get another Gengar. So it's very useful. And of course, we have 7 copies of Psychic Energy. I don't really think you need more than this. I think this is plenty as it is. You could honestly probably get away with 5 and be okay. I like to play a little bit more energy in my decks because I always whiff the energy when I really need them, so that's why I do that. With all of that being said, though, let us go and try and get a game with this. So I'm very excited for this one because, I don't know, I haven't played Gengar in a while. I think that this one has a lot more potential than some of the other ones. I'm not saying that this is going to be the best deck ever, but I think there is a lot of cool things we can do. So Dimension Valley over some other stadiums, just because the energy is the main problem, I think, in Gengar decks. I don't think getting damage down is the main problem, but having the correct amount of energy to use your attacks is. So we'll go with Tails, see if we win. We lost, so that's unfortunate. We really want to go first with this deck, so not being able to go first really, really hurts. But double Zubat and Ghastly lead is not too bad, but our opening hand is pretty terrible, and they're going to scoop anyways. So their opening hand must have been a lot worse than ours, and we're not going to let them know. Alright, so let's actually try and get an actual game here as we sit through all this. Oh, yes, I get a game. I've unlocked 10, 25 coins, whatever. Alright, I'm just here to play some Pokemon, not get my rewards. So yeah, looking at my cards online, I think I need to stock up on a little bit more before I can go ahead and make videos, because I don't really want to make any videos with the cards I do currently have. And the ones I do have, I've pretty much already made videos on so far, so we might revisit a deck and maybe do a tournament kind of video or something like that, but I'm not entirely sure. So we lost the coin flip again, which is pretty bad, because again, we want to go first if possible. I'm actually going to go ahead and move my camera to this side because some of this information over here is a lot more useful. If anything gets put off screen, I apologize. This is ideally the best spot for the camera. I can actually move it up slightly a little bit so we can maybe see if anything goes down there, but just having it over here is just not usually good. But when we're in the deck manager, it's the best spot for it. So, I guess it could be up here too, but then I can't see those buttons if I want to concede. I honestly hate the people that take a minute and a half to put down their opening hand. This is ridiculous. Seriously. Oh my god. I keep clicking everything but the buttons I'm trying to click. Alright, so not the best opening hand, but we have the Lele, so that's nice. We probably wanted Lele just for supporter. I was thinking we could Lele Bridget and then put down a bunch of stuff and try and stall for time, especially with rare candy. Could be nice to get Gengar into play, but if we don't get anything else, we'll see what happens if we draw into an actual supporter or not. But I don't know. So we're going against a Marshadow deck, and we're going first, so that's really nice. We'll put Lucamine in the discard pile because that's the thing we're going to need pretty much just later on in general. And we will grab Lele because this is not a hand we can really afford to keep. I want to save the Dimension Valley, but I'm going to put it down now regardless because I want to thin out the deck a little bit. I really don't want to be drawing into another one. So with that being said, honestly, looking at my stuff, I probably want to go ahead and just use Cynthia here. Well, I guess I probably should have ended them because they have a very large hand size. That was stupid. I wasn't even thinking of that. For some reason, I think I'm playing standard, even though I'm looking at all these expanded cards. But all right, we'll do that and just kind of regret it. I don't want to leave you here because you'll probably get knocked out. Honestly, I don't think putting that there is the worst decision in the world, and we will shaman for 2 cards because it's going to be easier to shaman now than it is next turn. Of course, we try to support stuff, so we're gonna have to pass. I probably misplayed that really badly. I apologize for that. Didn't even go through my head that N is literally the same thing as Cynthia. I was just like, we don't want to give our opponent a new hand. It's the opening turn. I honestly don't even know what's going through my head. So we're going against Night March. Or I got 3 Lampent in the discard. Gonna have the 4th one if it's in there. We'll find out in a second. If the 4th one doesn't go in, it's usually prized because that's something you don't want to draw into, or it's in the opening hand. So they already have 6 in there. I gotta keep. Oh, it's in the opening hand, so 8 in there, and that is pretty much just guaranteed knockout on Lele. Yay! Right, so that's 160. They need another one in there to get a knockout, or they need to draw into Muscle Band, Choice Band for a knockout. Is Marshadow weak to Psychic? Yes, he is. I've actually not seen a lot of Marshadow, so that's a little new to me. I'm trying to read it. Alright. Alright, so that's the knockout. Really though? You're actually gonna be trying to use like his GX attack? It's not a bad GX attack, but it's a little awkward to use in a Night March deck, I think. We could draw a Karen now. Be nice. Alright, so they've already taken 2 prizes. Let's go ahead and end them. Probably the best opportunity to do so. You know, the first turn was technically the best opportunity to do so. Unfortunately, no energy to try and stall out. We got a full bench, and that's pretty useful. But other than that, not really too good of a situation. I'm a little worried about them potentially playing Toad and then discarding Toad and then item locking me here. That could be really bad. Not really a whole lot of supporters in the discard pile. I feel like you probably need something better than Cynthia in the discard pile, but I'm not going to complain. I'm not sure what Mew is going to be copying. Maybe the Sable or Energy Drive, but you know, probably sees the bats, doesn't want to bench any of his Joltik. I mean, that is a really cool card for this. I kind of figured they would end up Lysandering this turn if possible and taking out Shaman. You just kind of have to accept that fact, but I was hoping that it wouldn't come to that. I think we're going to have to go ahead and end again. I think... Did we already discard any of these guys? I think I'm going to go ahead and discard Crobat. And I'm going to get myself a Golbat. Definitely, maybe. Or maybe I want to grab a Gengar or Haunter I feel like it's harder to draw into Haunter. It's definitely going to be easier to draw into Golbat. So let's grab the Haunter. At least evolve one of these. We need to evolve them. So, yeah. And we will VS Seeker for N again, because we cannot let them have a hand size. They have a full bench. They can't Shaman. As long as they don't get a VS Seeker or Supporter, which, you know, it's Night March. It's a very consistent deck. It's very likely to happen, but... So we could technically get Gengar here, but probably not gonna work out. So yeah, I don't see us winning this at all. Like, this is pretty bad. But let's go ahead and swoop across. They're gonna have to dead draw, get no double colorless energy, nothing. And I just don't see that happening against a Night March deck, seriously. So they're gonna Night March, get a knockout on us. They're gonna go down to 1 prize card as we're gonna end here, and they're gonna go down to 1 as we go down up to 6. I was actually gonna say I really hope this is a Pokemon that we draw, because I would like to use Pokemon communication. And we will go ahead and grab the Gengar so we can evolve into Gengar, and we can actually use our attack this turn, which is kind of nice. Oh no, why did I rare candy? I'm so stupid. Now we have to draw a freaking energy. Oh my god. I just wanted to evolve. I saw the rare candy and I just went with it. There's still a way out of this. I didn't make too much of a misplay. Except the game's not going to give me any of the things that I actually need. So, I'm sorry, game. You gave me something. So let's go ahead and computer search. Probably get rid of these two. We can't use teammates at all at this point, so it's pointless having. And we will go ahead and grab the Golbat. So that way we can actually go ahead and put damage onto the Marshadow here. So that way that will be a guaranteed knockout. And then we will go ahead and retreat, go into Creepshow, and we will Creepshow for the knockout, which about time we got something. I think a lot of series of misplays on my part have caused me to be in this situation, but if there was a deck to make a comeback, by far it has to be Creepshow. Alright, so he's going to scoop up. Yes! We're good! We're good! Yes! He's going to disable, though. He is going to disable. So that's not good. Obviously. But Gengar is for retreat, and that's fine. But him getting tails on that is just so useful, because him being able to Shaman there, oh man. I'm actually really excited about that. Alright, that's good. This is why N is the best card in the game. Like, come on. Yeah, so he's going to disable Creepshow, I'd have to assume. But we have for retreat and go into the other one. So let's go ahead and Mysterious Treasure here. We're going to go ahead and grab... probably Crobat. And I think what is useful here is if we snipe the Mew, it'll be in position to be just knocked out, which I think is nice. Or we probably want to tag down one of the other guys that is going to allow us to win the game. We'll probably be a little bit smarter. So we don't N, because that actually gives them a card. We will go ahead and Colress here. Plus we get more cards with Cynthia or Colress, so that would be stupid. We can go ahead and Super Rod. I think we're going to want to grab a couple of these guys back, and maybe the energy, so we can actually draw into the energy. We actually have a Golbat left in the deck, so I'm going to go ahead and grab Lele, because Lele could actually just be a lot more useful. We didn't get... So that's actually annoying. I didn't get an energy. We play 7. There's only 1 in the discard pile, and we already had 1 in play, so that means we had 5 left somewhere, and we didn't draw into a single one. And this is what I mean. That's why I play 7 energy to begin with. So unfortunately, we're not. Oh no, I can't use Creepshow on this anyways. We can't Sinister Fog this. But we can actually go ahead and retreat into Crobat, and we can snipe. So maybe we'll snipe Mew. Yeah. See, Mew could have been knocked out. No, technically it's knocked out, but I don't know. I don't even know what I'm trying to get at. I think I meant to say Sableye, but I'm too stupid sometimes. So honestly, maybe sniping down Sableye would have been a better option at this point. But they have to get a knockout on Crobat. Marshadow should not have a hard time doing so. But there is that. I didn't put any damage on Shaman because it always has the possibility of being able to Sky Return. But if he just gets double colorless energy anyways, we're getting knocked out. Yep, there we go. Well, we tried. We tried. I didn't have the ability to Lysander or Guzma anyways, so I can't say too much about that. It happens. It happens. Alright, so go ahead and get one more. See how well this goes. Hopefully it's not a Night March deck. Karen would have been super useful at some point, but we didn't draw until at that very last hand. With heads this time. Alright, we finally won one, even though we actually went first that time. Alright, so we're going to go first. Hope for a better hand than we've been getting, which of course the game doesn't give us. If you've never heard me complain about how random the hands are in this game, I apologize, because I'm going to probably complain about it a whole lot in this video, but I feel like the game is so random it's bad. That's all you guys need to know. Alright, so thankfully they mulliganed. Didn't really do too much for us, but at least we're not going to draw into those in the next 2 turns. Fantastic. Fantastic overall. I honestly don't know what he's playing. I'm going to go ahead and assume I'm fine attaching energy here. If not, then, you know, I'll live with my mistakes, but yeah, let's go. Let's go for it. Alright, so he's playing. Alright, so he is playing one of those Ninetales decks that just goes off of all the status conditions. This is going to give us a burn. This is going to give us a sleep and poison. And then Ninetales is going to come in and attack and do an absolute ton of damage. So, okay. That's the only thing I could have possibly thought he was playing, but I've seen stranger things in decks, so you know, you can be playing a variety of Ninetales. But yeah, so we are now burned and poisoned and confused, or asleep, but we're awake. We're good. We're gonna go ahead and remove all of those conditions, but first, why don't we just do this? We will go ahead and probably have to say get rid of Super Rod here. We're going to grab Lele if it's in the deck. Thank God it's in the deck. We're going to go ahead and evolve the active into Gengar. So that way we can just use Sinister Fog. I think that's ideal to maybe use right now. We will put down the Dimension Valley. We will attach that to Ghastly. And we will Lele. Probably at this point grab, I'd have to say probably Juniper, but it does not seem to be in the deck. So, because of that, we will grab Cynthia most likely. Yeah. Cynthia seems like a good option. Alright, we got some more stuff. I would actually like to use this now. I want to put down another Zubat, but the problem with that, of course, is the fact that having that empty room for Shaman is really nice if we don't draw into anything. So I'm actually going to go ahead and grab the Haunter here, because that means we don't have to rely on Rare Candy next turn to evolve this Ghastly. But also Pain Amplifier is pretty nice. And I guess we will just go with Sinister Fog here and spread the damage. I think Gengar is going to get knocked out here regardless. But this is at 30. You can always swoop across for free. Yeah, Gengar's definitely knocked out for sure. It's 120 damage. So we only have 100. So I don't see the point of playing Lily and Expanded. Maybe if you play a deck like Night March and you literally discard half your deck first and then use Lily, I think it could be useful, but I don't know. I'm not a big fan of Lily other than in Standard at the moment. Alright, so we're going to see Devolution Spray, so that means their deck can actually be a little bit clunky, which is pretty nice for us. Unfortunately, we don't have Toad in here, so we can't item lock them. Alright, so we'll send up Golbat for free retreat purposes. Attach another energy probably to Ghastly. We have to Shaman here. I guess I should have grabbed Zubat, huh? There's Zubat now. We will go ahead and involve Gengar. Trying to think what would be the best thing to do. What do you have in our deck that I would even want a Skyla for? Just besides like a supporter. But if we could just use this and use a supporter. I don't know. I was just thinking, I don't think there really is anything at the moment that we would want to grab with that hand. But I think I do want to get an N in the discard pile. Solely because I want to be able to use N with Via Seeker at any point. And also, it puts them at a lower hand size going into their turn. But, I think we want to probably get the Ninetales out of there at the very least. This makes it so they're going to need a little bit more cards in their hand to actually play this turn out. They're going to need Ninetales first off. They're going to need a Fire Energy to use the attack. They're also going to need either Hypnotoxic or Salazzle in hand to evolve. So I think there's a lot more work going into that than anything. But, you know, we'll see what happens. This is Expanded. A lot of crazy stuff happens in this format. So there's the Hypnotoxic. They just need the Fire Energy at this point. Well, I didn't say it was a perfect plan, but I do think it was the correct plan. They just happened to have all the right cards necessary. They didn't have a supporter, though, so if they didn't have one of those cards, we would have been fine. Alright, so we'll put Golbat up front. We can put 50 damage down this turn, and then we could snipe for free. it would actually just add up to a knockout. So I think we might just do that. Just once again, just have those kind of things be problematic for our opponent. We can go ahead and put an energy on Lele. I think we're going to go ahead and grab another Crobat. And I think we're just going to go ahead and skill dive the active for a knockout. So we get another Psychic Energy, which isn't actually useful at all. But Lele will have another energy for sure, which can help us get into one-shot territory for some of the things. So we're going to see a Salazzle evolution and an energy to the Vulpix. Any supporter though? No, none whatsoever, so that is great for us. We'll go ahead and put down the Zubat. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. We're going to evolve into this and take out the Vulpix this turn, because that's obviously the one thing I'm worried about. Attach another energy to Lele, and we'll knock out the Vulpix. Now they're going to have to evolve Vulpix, and they can't do that in one turn, which is great for us. Another thing we might want to do is actually maybe attach an energy to somebody besides Lele, even if it is to a Crobat this turn, only due to the fact that if they do remove our stadium, we're going to have to get another one, and I believe we already discarded one, and I'm not sure if the other one is still in the deck or not. So 30 damage going here. We'll again free retreat this because there's no point in not doing so. Can't really use any of this at all. So that would be not a knockout, even if I had that on. One, two, three, 4 is 80, 100, it has 110 HP. Let's put it on Lele. Let's just go for it. I think it can definitely be useful on Lele, but just not at the moment. If we attacked this one, it would have been, but we'd also have to get a Golbat, so we can go ahead and evolve into our Gengar. Now, unfortunately, Gengar is not super useful at the moment, so we might actually just go into Lele, because this is going to be the most damage outcome possible that we can do, and it only has a 1 retreat cost, so retreating it is not even the end of the world. And this opens this up to a Crobat snipe, but we have both Crobats in play, so we'd have to lose one first. Oh, they're gonna scoop. All right, we'll get one more because that game was a little weird, and I definitely played a lot better that time around, but I think that deck's not as good as I would hope it to be. We'll try and get another match against another deck that's not really going off the basis of using non-EX Pokemon to have an upper hand while doing okay damage. I don't know. That deck is just not as good as I want to have in this video. So we'll try and get one more game, see how this goes. Lost a coin flip. I just keep losing them. I don't know what it is. Maybe they'll let us go first, though. Alright, so they're going to go first. They're playing maybe a Dragon deck. Well, they have to have a Dragon Pokemon in there, at the very least. But I hope they're not playing Garchomp in Expanded. I really would like to go against, like, a Zoroark deck, anything really. I don't want to go against random stuff. Alright, so we're going against a Noivern deck. Alright, so that's a lot better to see. Kind of, but not really. This is scary because we need rare candies to get Gengars into play. So not being able to play items is definitely very bad. Yes, we will take all 5 of these. Yes. We'll get that extra Zubat in play. It's very nice to have. And they're going to lead off with Mars Shadow. So right off the start, things not really going well for our opponent. Leading off with Mars Shadow, they're going to have to dedicate energy to get that out of there unless they're going to want a Guzma or something. We are going to see an enhanced Hammer, which against us really doesn't matter because we're playing Psychic Energy. And I think he knows that it's probably useless seeing the Ghastly down here, so we'll see what happens. He's going to Lele. Probably going to want to grab N this turn. Alright, just going to go for the Bridget. I mean, we have a really big hand size, so I don't know. I feel like that might have just not been a correct play. I feel like you want to get rid of our hand size, especially because bats and such. But I think we'll go ahead and Bridget our turn as well because we'll fill up our bench, and I think that's just really good, honestly. So they're going to be playing Altarias too to also pump up the damage output. We have a lot of potential with this hand, so this is really nice. I think what we're going to want to actually do here, though, is probably put Crobat back into the deck and grab maybe Gengar for next turn, if possible, if we're going to be able to get the rare candy off. Depends on what they're going to go ahead and play. But we will bridge it, and we will grab... I think this is good. I think we want to have all of the Zubats in play. And why don't we go ahead and attach the energy to Ghastly. I'm just hoping they're not playing Hammers as well. It definitely seemed like a very clunky deck if they were playing Crushing Hammer as well. We do not want to grab Bridget back. I'm almost tempted just to use Computer Search now because getting rid of Lusamine would be great, and also just getting rid of Via Seeker would be fine, but I don't necessarily know what we grab other than maybe like Dimension Valley. I don't think we play Dimension Valley though, but yeah, I don't necessarily know what... Maybe we get rid of the Field Blower, actually. We can grab, honestly, anything. But we have N in hand. I don't know. Maybe we'll just go with the Valley. I don't necessarily know what else we would want. I mean, we could grab Haunter to evolve one of our Ghastly into Haunter. There is something to be said about that. I don't know. Let's try with the Haunter. It's easier to draw into a Dimension Valley than it is to draw into a Haunter. So, and then all 3 of them are in there. So maybe we just grab Haunter and we pass. I don't know if he's going to be able to knock out a Zubat regardless this turn. So we'll see what happens. But he'd have to have Noivern, Energy, Guzma, or Tate Liza, something, switch. He's already going to use Sycamore. He'd have to have some kind of switch item card at this point. It'd have to be Escape Rope or Switch itself. And I doubt he's playing that, seeing how Noivern has Free Retreat to begin with. So yeah, we're just going to see a pass. No energy even come down, so that's actually super good. We're going to evolve that one over there to Haunter because we want to evolve the one with energy into Gengar, because that's definitely the more useful option for us here. They didn't really have too many useful cards in their hand, but they did Sycamore, so I'm not sure what they have here. Maybe another supporter. We will end because there's no reason not to end, but rather have used another supporter if possible. And we have stuff here. Stuff I'm not too upset about, but not too excited about. I think this is... obviously, we want to use all the Mysterious Treasures, right? Before we can't. but I don't know. Maybe we should just hit this, retreat, attach, and attack. Honestly, I don't think that's the worst option. I think we want to have the Crobat. I don't think we want to lose Gengar either. So maybe we go for... I don't know why I attached that. I was going to go for Sinister Fog, not go for Creepshow. So that was really stupid of me. I don't think we're going to be able to get one shot regardless, but still. That was really stupid of me. That was a really bad move. I don't know why I attached the energy there. Really dumb. Could have attached it anywhere else. Could have actually just Mysterious Treasured it. But yeah, not a very smart play in my books. I was definitely overthinking things. For some reason, I thought I was going to be using Creepshow, and we weren't. We were using Sinister Fog. These are the things I gotta work on when we do live battles on here. Just take it slow. Don't feel rushed like the game's going to rush you along. Just take your time. Think everything out. Think everything through before you place cards. Let's try and get through this without any more mess-ups like that. I mean, regardless, we can use Creepshow now. So that is fine. They've already gone through a pretty big majority of their deck. I don't even think we get to see everything. Yeah. 2V is Secret down the drain. They're actually going to have the ability to one-shot us here. Because I completely, for some reason, forget that Double Dragon Energy is a thing. But, yeah. So this is where I messed up. We can actually Lele here, though, so that's actually fine. So let's go ahead and grab Lele. Probably going to Lele for... I don't know, N doesn't seem too bad right now. Get Gengar into play. No reason not to. We'll get Crobat in... Do we want Crobat in play, though? Like, this has 3, so that's guaranteed knockout. Like, we can start tagging something down. This would take 2 for a knockout. This would take more than 2 for a knockout. I guess we'll just hit Lele for now. And just bring that to the point where we can actually go ahead and get rid of it. They do have Acerola in the deck, so we gotta watch out for that, but... yeah, I don't think N is the worst option. We don't have the ability to Colress, and we don't have the ability to Sycamore or Juniper, so we're going to go ahead and N, and their hand down a little bit lower. I mean, it's great that they didn't have a Noibat, but also I'm not really pleased with that hand. So, and unfortunately, we didn't get a Stadium, so that is real bad. If I put the energy down and they Lysander, that's just not good. So we might actually want to hold on to that. The one thing we could do is go on to Lele. Lele would be able to live and attack, and then for... oh, I can't even... I don't have Dimension Valley. I don't know why I'm thinking. Yeah, so I think we're just going to attach here, and what we're going to do is snipe Marshadow. 1, Marshadow has a float on it. 2, this just opens it up to being knocked out with a snipe if we need to. I'm assuming somewhere down the road in this game we're going to be forced to knock out another little Pokemon, so that's fine. There's the Guzma, so that's why I didn't want to attach the obvious Psychic Energy to Gengar, because I was afraid it was going to get knocked out this turn. And I guess we'll send up Crobat. Alright, so that was just not super good. We'll attach to Ghastly in hopes that things will work out here. But the problem is not being able to... the Sycamore or Colress is really taking its toll on us because we need a lot of cards and not shuffling cards back into the deck and only drawing 6. Not really much else we can do besides this. So I think we are going to have to end again. Yeah, literally the only thing we can do at this point. So we got a majority of the cards we need. I mean, we technically got everything we need, but still. Let's go ahead and rare candy here. Go into Gengar. We will go ahead and drop the dimension value because we're going to get rid of this turn. We are also going to evolve you and help us take out Noibat, maybe. That is the idea. And we will definitely, for sure, Shaman, because being able to draw into more cards right now is very good. So we will actually go ahead and get rid of Bridget, because Bridget just is not going to be useful. And we will grab Golbat. And honestly, I don't think there's anything wrong with targeting down Noibat again, so we're going to do that. We're going to go ahead and use this other one, get rid of Karen, because I don't think we're going to be Karening. I don't know. Grab Crobat. I mean, we do need a lot of these guys back, honestly, but go ahead and retreat. Go out to Gengar. We will now Creep Show. And there's not really a way for them to get enough energy into play at this point to make me afraid of losing Gengar. They could double dragon and boom burst, but they'll probably distort and do a decent amount of damage and make us lose items. But all right, so that's going to be the win. They're probably not in a good situation after that, and didn't really see too much going on for them. So I'm honestly surprised we won that one. I honestly didn't think Gengar was going to do all too well. Did a little bit better than I thought. I think we had a possibility of some sort of comeback against Night March. It definitely like a 5% chance, if anything, because they had one prize card. I mean, we can't deny that. So it went better than I thought. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, stick around for more. This was just a Halloween special. Next time we have a Pokemon video, it's probably going to be an actual deck, so look forward to that. And until then, I'll see you all later. Bye.